Did you know you can cite an unpublished paper or manuscript in the APA style? This would include papers or manuscripts that are still being written, works that were submitted for publication but rejected, works that are being considered for publication but haven't been accepted yet, papers or manuscripts the author completed but decided not to publish, and works that have been accepted for publication but not yet published. This can be helpful if you're writing about the most cutting-edge research or delving deep into an issue that isn't often discussed. But how do you do it correctly? The rules for doing this in APA style vary slightly depending on where the paper is in the publication process. I'll start out with the general rules for citing an unpublished paper or manuscript, but I'll then look at citing a paper that has been accepted for publication as well. As with published sources, citing an unpublished piece of work requires that you use the author's surname and a date. The only difference is you'll need to give the year of production as opposed to the year of publication. This means citing the year that the source was written. For example, a paper written in 2020 would simply use the date 2020 in parentheses. Few fully understand the publication process, Clark 2020. Or, according to Clark 2020, publication is a complex process, P20. This applies for all pieces of work that haven't yet been submitted, that have been submitted but not accepted, or that were rejected. Later in the video, I'll look at the rules for citing a piece of work that has been accepted but is yet to be published. What about unpublished papers in your reference list? As with other references, when adding an unpublished paper to your APA reference list, you'll want to start with the author's surname and initial. You'll also want to include the title of the manuscript in sentence case and italics in your reference. You'll also need to include the year of production in place of a year of publication after the author's name, the status of the paper in square brackets after the title, and, where possible, the name of the department and the institution where the work was produced, which goes at the end of the reference in place of publication information. The tricky bit here is getting the manuscript's status correct. Usually it should be manuscript in preparation for an in-progress paper, manuscript submitted for publication for a paper that has been submitted to a publisher but hasn't yet been accepted for publication, or unpublished manuscript for a finished work that has been rejected by a publisher or that the author chose not to publish. If you're not sure which one applies, ask the paper's author for clarification. How to cite a paper or manuscript that is in press. When a paper has been accepted but not yet published, the rules in APA are slightly different. First, you should use the term in press in place of a year of publication in your in-text citations. For example, few fully understand the publication process, Clark, in press. In the reference list, meanwhile, you should replace the date of publication with in press again. The paper or manuscript title doesn't need to be italicized, and you don't need to include a status in square brackets, since in press tells the reader that anyway. For journal articles, you should give the name of the journal that accepted the paper in title case and italics, separated from the paper title by a comma. It's always worth checking the status of submitted papers before finalizing your reference list. They can go from submitted for publication to in press quite quickly. So that's how you cite an unpublished work in APA style. If you have any particular questions, let me know in the comments. I've linked some handy APA resources in the video description. Don't forget to check out our APA playlist for everything you need to know about writing, formatting, and referencing in APA style. Your writing, proof.